Yo, what's up, everybody? Carlton T. Clay here. So, in today's episode of Carlton's World, I did an episode about Housewives. So, I thought it would be cool to do to shoot a little cool intro to go with today's episode. So, if you're listening, you actually want to see it, you can head over to my YouTube page, youtube.com/@CarltonTClay. Head on over there to see the special intro to today's episode of Carlton's World. So, without further ado, here is Carlton's World. I may have put the camera away, but at the end of the day, I'm still the blueprint. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Carlton's World. Thank y'all so much for being here. I definitely appreciate you for joining me today. I literally just got back from the gym, but I wanted to go ahead and get this pod out the way. The house is quiet. Poochie's not barking. So I said, let me go ahead and do this pod real quick. Get this out the way. Shout out to my friend, my homie, Karanita Bird Harrelson. This is her brand. This is one of her many brands, one of her many clothing lines that she has out. Build, don't break. So definitely check her out. She has a plethora of merchandise out there. So definitely check her out to get your merch today, for sure. All right, so I want to do a fun pod today. Again, of course, I do the serious ones, talking from my heart and all that good stuff. And I also do the fun entertainment stuff. For people who know me, I am a reality TV junkie. That's just one of my guilty pleasures. I definitely do indulge in the reality TV. And so today, I want to talk about the Housewives franchise. There's been a lot of announcements, a lot of casting announcements going on these last few weeks. It's been a lot of casting announcements going on these last couple of days, particularly with Housewives of Potomac just ending, and they made several announcements. But I want to break down the Housewives franchises that I watch. I don't watch all of them, but there are four Housewives series that I do watch. And the four are Real Housewives of Atlanta, Real Housewives of Potomac, Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, and the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. So the first one that I got into was, of course, the Real Housewives of Atlanta. I got into that actually because my sisters were watching it, and I got in it on season 3. It was the episode when Sheree brought her doctor friend to the game night, and everybody was questioning him about what kind of doctor he was and all this other stuff. And it was they heard about him on the radio and that he wasn't a real doctor and all this stuff. So that's how I got introduced into the entire Housewives franchise, was that particular episode. And after watching the episode, I was crying, laughing, and I was just stuck. I was stuck with it ever since. So I've been watching it ever since then. So I started in season 3 and been watching it since then. And now I just recently, a few months ago, I went back and actually watched season 1 and season 2 because I'd never seen them. I'd never seen when Candy was introduced. I always saw the clips, of course, with her, and they always showed that scene with her and Nene get into it in the club, and Candy be like, "Don't make me," she'd be like, "Don't make me get out." Something she said, I can't quote it verbatim, but that scene, they always showed that one. And I definitely had never seen season 1, and everybody was always talking about Deshaun Snow. So I was like, well, let me watch season 1 and see season 1 and 2, see what everybody's talking about. And I heavily enjoyed it. I think with watching what we have now versus watching from back then, it obviously was a lot more authentic. Yes, I do believe these women, obviously they knew they were going to be on TV. I do know that, of course, when cameras are around, there's a little turn up in the personality. But I do believe it was a lot more authentic. These relationships and these friendships were a lot more, obviously, they actually knew each other, or they were familiar with each other, or they actually had a friendship of some sort. And it was just a lot. Again, I keep saying authentic, but it was a lot more authentic. Yes, with reality TV, you do have to schedule, the meetups, and you have to make sure things are congruent to make a storyline make sense, as they say. But I think that's the issue now. I think that, and not just Atlanta, but just all reality shows in general now, I think it's so focused on the storyline. Like, what's your storyline? Where it's not really capturing, okay, what's really happening in your lives. And I think that's honestly why I enjoy more docuseries versus reality reality shows, reality TV, because like it's like you're capturing what is really happening, and then you're kind of going by from you capture what's really happening, and then you take what you have and you put something together from there. And now with reality TV, it's like the producers just say, okay, you got to go talk about this. Go make sure you mention this person. Go do this. Go do this. Go do this. So you can see the difference between early reality TV and what we have now. But let's get back to Housewives. So I'm going on a tangent. So of course the big casting announcement. This is season 16, Sweet 16. The big casting announcement is that Portia is coming back, right? And then they just announced. Kenya just announced that she was also returning. She did the whole big promo with the peach. I thought it was cute. She did the whole thing. And I'm gonna be honest with you. I definitely so first of all, they announced that after season 15, they was like they're gonna do this whole big reboot. That was the whole thing. It was like a reboot. They was gonna do a Real Housewives of New York style reboot where they just basically start all the way over. And at first I was like, nah, I don't want that. But then when Candy announced that she wasn't coming back, then I was like, okay, I think that it make it work. If you actually get authentic, because there are so many people that actually are from Atlanta, and I understand what people are saying. Like after watching the first 2 seasons, there was like we need to get back to the Housewives of Atlanta, showing the elegance, the elite, like the real lavish lifestyle of Atlanta. And I after watching the first 2 seasons, I understand why people were saying that. But so after Candy announced that she was leaving, I was like, okay, cool, reboot. All right, it might not be too bad if we actually get a group of a circle of people that actually know each other, that actually are like, again, actually friends. I feel like now it's like, okay, we're gonna cast this person, and we're gonna try to forge these friendships versus, all right, let's actually get a circle of people that are actually friends, or friendly, or actually are associated with one another. That way, it just kind of makes for more authentic television. I keep saying the word authentic, but I mean that's just pretty much. I feel like that's what's missing. I feel like it's not. I just feel like it's kind of forced. But yeah. So anyway, so with Portia has always been a favorite of mine. I love Portia. I think Portia is great. Has she had some crazy moments? Absolutely. I think with the whole Simon thing that was crazy. I really wish that she literally, obviously, when that whole Simon thing happened, she left because I don't think she wanted to deal with, like, I guess the barrage of questions that were gonna come her way from the original cast. Even though I didn't watch Ultimate Girls Trip, but I from my understanding, they grilled her on about it on Ultimate Girls Trip anyway. So, and now even with this whole divorce situation, now it's like it's gonna be interesting with her return. But like I said, Portia's I've always enjoyed Portia. Portia does make good TV. When she had her own little separate special though, I definitely like that. I don't think that really put her in a good light because a lot of things that were coming forth and it was like, oh, Portia, come on, Portia. But it'll be interesting to see her new dynamic. I think people were more excited about seeing her as she did a little tease on Instagram, like Portia Williams coming back. No, but Portia Gabadia is coming back or whatever she did. So I think people were more interested in seeing her in that lavish lifestyle. But then now with the whole divorce thing happening, it's like, okay, now it seems like we're gonna get the same storyline we got when she divorced her first husband. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, and again, now with Kenya confirming, I know for me, like I said, I was with Kenya. I was excited about her when she first came on, just because I knew of her because she was in Twa, of course. I saw that. I know I wasn't supposed to be seeing that, but I saw it. So I was excited about her being on Housewives because of that. You know, I know her from that. Of course, she was on Two can play that game. A lot of the 90s and 2000s series. So of course I knew who she was as the actress Kenya Moore. But when she came on there, it was kind of just like she really became that villain. And it was just like, I don't think I like Kenya. And I was just like, nah, I'm not really feeling her. I started liking Kenya. I think I started liking her because the first season when Drew was on there, I felt like she was rude and mean to Drew for no reason. I think after that season, I started liking Kenya. I think, especially because I don't like Marlo. I don't think I'm glad Marlo is not coming back. I don't think she was a good housewife. Honestly, I feel like she was on there to be messy. Reminds me of another person on another Bravo series, and I'll get into that on another pod. I'm sticking with Housewives on this one, but she was. I definitely was not a Marlo fan, especially when she became. I wasn't a Marlo fan when she became a housewife. I was like, nah, this ain't it. She's doing way too much for the cameras, and she definitely is coming at Candy for no reason. Like it was just a lot of stirring up a lot of mess. But anyway, I started to like Kenya from that point after Drew's first season. What I don't want to see, I do not want to see Portia versus Kenya. I don't want to see that anymore. I think we're over that. We've done that for years now. Not saying they got to be best friends. Not saying they got to fake the fun like they love each other. Like, oh my God, this is my girl. We ain't got to do all that either. But I don't want to see them. I don't want to see the constant back and forth and all that. We did that. We've done that. We need to see some progression. We really do. They haven't made any more casting announcements with Atlanta yet. It's speculated that Drew may be coming back. It's speculated Sheree's coming back. I need Sheree to have a storyline. I need Sheree to really be their OG anchor because she's really the only person that's tying us to the early episodes of Housewives because she was there on, since season 1, even though she's been let go a couple of times. But still, like, she still is that tie-in to that. I just wish with Atlanta they was gonna do the reboot. They were really stuck with it and just really rebooted the show. Like really just they should have. I wish they would have stood on business, as the young people say, and really reboot it like they say they were going to do. I wish they would have done that. But anyway, we'll see what happens as they make these continue to make these casting announcements. Now let's move on to Housewives of Potomac. So I got into Potomac. So I actually watched when I first came on. I watched the first season. I thought it was incredibly boring. It was just boring to me when it first came out. I was just like, ugh, yeah, I don't know. It was just a constant. I feel like it was a constant race bait, if you will. Like it was always constantly. They was questioning Katie about her race, and then Katie was constantly coming at them about Robin and Giselle about their race and stuff like that. And then I don't know if I watch. I can't remember if I watched season 2. I can't remember. But anyway, I literally kind of put Potomac to the side when it first came out. I came in. I know this sounds real bad. I came in when I saw the clips because I remember, like I said, I did watch a little bit of season 2 when it first came out. I think I watched like the first 2 episodes. So I do remember. I knew who Monique was. So when I came in on season 5, and that's the infamous big fight season between Monique and Candace. That's the season I came back to Potomac because I remember seeing that trailer. I was like, "Oh, what is going on with these Potomac women? When did this start happening?" So I started watching it again on season 5, and I've been watching it ever since. And so of course the recent announcements with Potomac. Candace announced that she was leaving, and also she announced that her and Chris are expecting their first child together. So congratulations to them. Robin announced that she was fired. There's one thing I will say about Robin, even though I'm not a Robin fan, I will say I admire her for being honest about the situation. Because a lot of times people say, "Oh, I'm just, I've decided to walk away from the show," and I'm not talking about just not shedding anybody. I'm just saying this is a lot of times people, instead of saying they were let go, they would be like, "Oh, I just decided to pursue other things." And it's like, I admire Robin for being honest and saying that, yo, I was fired. The network decided not to bring me back. It is what it is. And I appreciate that. I appreciate her, Robin, for being honest about something. So I do appreciate that. Also, it's speculated. I don't think official announcement has come out yet, but NECA also may not be returning, which I will say, if that is true, I'm not mad about that. I feel like I've been saying that she needs the Anne Marie, I'm saying her name right, the Anne Marie from Housewives, from Beverly Hills Housewives, need that treatment. She needs, because Anne Marie has also been let go, and we'll get into Beverly Hills in a second. But I said NECA needed to go because I just don't feel like NECA brought anything to the show. Honestly, I think like even if you found out that Wendy, again, this is alleged, even if you found out that Wendy did not want to necessarily bring you on as the friend as her friend, you're still on the show regardless of how you're getting put on. So I feel like instead of you, and I'm gonna say this, it's still Ashley's fault, Ashley Darby's fault. Ashley should also be gone too, but anyway, Ashley's the one that actually started all this mess. And I feel like instead of you should have, when Ashley brought it up, NECA should have shut it down. Regardless of how you feel about Wendy not wanting to bring you on. I'm not saying you gotta be buddy with Wendy. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is you should have shut it down because you knew how what's the word? How not convoluted, but the whole situation that with their culture, that whole situation that was going on, you knew how much controversy, I should say, and I don't know if that's the right word either, but you know what an issue that was. And I feel like you should have said, Ashley, we're not doing that. Regardless of how you feel about Wendy, you should have been like, nah, we're not doing that. And I feel like Wendy also I feel like with that, then Wendy probably would have been a little bit more receptive of y'all not necessarily being friends, but y'all actually forming some type of friendly relationship. But all that was definitely Ashley's fault. I put that on Ashley. And going back to season 5, I still blame Giselle for the fight between Monique and Candace. I don't care what anybody says. I blame Giselle. You know why I blame Giselle? Because Giselle knew that Monique and Candace were not on good terms, but she was the one that tossed them. So y'all too good? Y'all good? I remember that scene vividly. She was like, y'all good? Why, if you know two people are not getting along, you know they're not on the best of terms, why are you egging the situation on? I don't care what the producers tell you or what is going on in your ear or whatever's going on in that mind of yours. You should have left that alone. Now, again, this is a touchy subject. I know this is old and I'm bringing old stuff up. Should Monique have put her hands on Candace? Absolutely not. I don't necessarily agree with her actions. However, I will say that you I know if people are actually listening and watching this, they're gonna like really get on me, especially on Twitter. They're not nice on Twitter. You don't know how people are gonna respond when you do certain things, right? Again, I'm not saying that what Monique did is right. That mouth that Candace had though, it's like, you know, like when you in the streets for like, when you're really in the streets for it. I'm not really talking like I'm like really from the streets, like I'm about that life, like for real. But I know what it is though. When you talking all that, a lot of people don't do the whole talk thing. When you talking all that yin yang, it's certain people you got to be careful about who you talk to, because especially coming from where they come from, because that one thing you say, they ready to pop you in the mouth. And I think that it was a lot of yin yang happening here. There. So yeah. With that being said though, I do know that definitely like I said, I think And so recently, actually, with that being said, recently I went back and watched seasons 1 through 4. I'm on season 4 now. I'm finishing up season 4 now. And from jump, Giselle had an issue with Monique. I don't know what Giselle's issue was with Monique. I don't know why. Like Giselle, and I don't know her personally, but from what I see on television, Giselle is a beautiful woman on the outside, but her in something on the inside, I don't know what it is that's going on with her. And it's just, she spews so much ugliness. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, why are you like this? Like, what? And I feel like she was just going against Monique from jump. And so then when Candace came on in season 3, I feel like, and again, I'm still on season 4, so I'm not finished with that yet. So I don't know. I know I just saw the scene when Monique and Candace got into it on Katie's farm. I saw that. And I believe because of Giselle's dislike for Monique, I do believe that Giselle used that to her advantage as far as really forming trying to form an alliance with Candace to go against Monique. I do feel like that. I do. I really do. If you think I'm wrong, then we can agree to disagree. But going back and watching, I can see that obviously Giselle had an issue with Monique from jump for no reason, and I just don't understand why this woman is like that. Robin, I'm just glad she's no longer coming back to the show. I just feel like even with these latest antics with her not disclosing what was going on, this is the issue I have with Robin, and I think this is the issue a lot of people have with Robin. Robin is always trying, and Robin is messy, and Robin is always trying to like call out people for what they do and call out people in their marriages and their husbands and all this other stuff. But you got this whole man right here. You got Juan Dixon literally playing with you in your face, and it's like you just want to turn a blind eye to what he's doing, and you don't want to talk about what's going on with your own relationship, marriage, situationship, whatever y'all got going on. But you so quick to want to talk about Michael Darby. You want to so quick to talk about Ray. You want to talk about Eddie. You want to talk about Gordon. You just want to talk about everybody else's husbands. You don't want to deal with what's going on in your mess. Worry about that plank in your eye, shawty. You know what I'm saying? Worry about that. So I'm all over the place. Right now but it's just so much going on in my mind. But it's like, so with that said, Monique left. I actually started to like Candace, like in these later seasons, and I feel like I really feel like the fight between, because again, I'm watching the earlier seasons, the season 3 and 4 now, and it's so unfortunate to me that Monique and Candace, their friendship ended the way it did. It's so unfortunate because I could really see the love that they share for each other, and I just think it's so unfortunate what happened. I would love, now that Candace says she's not on the show, and Monique had put a post because people was like, bring Monique back. Monique says, I'm not coming back. I saw her post on Instagram, I believe. She said I'm not coming back, don't ask. But I would love, and not even just for the sake of the show, I would love if Monique and Candace can really have a sit down and they both can really have an honest conversation, because I really do feel like they really had a genuine relationship, a genuine friendship, a genuine love for one another. So I would really love that they could have a sit down and have a conversation. Not right now, while Candace, of course, is pregnant. I really want her to have a healthy delivery, healthy pregnancy, healthy delivery, all that stuff. She needs to focus on her family. But maybe later on down the line, I would really love if Monique and Candace could really have a really honest sit down, and they both can really talk about how things went left, and they both can take accountability to about what happened and both apologize. I think that would be a beautiful thing for the both of them, and not necessarily saying that they have to be friends again. I really just feel like that chapter is still the rest of that chapter is still unwritten, just in my opinion. Now, for the show, this is me being messy. This is before Candace said she was leaving. What I wanted, because again, I don't like the way Giselle operates. I don't like the way Giselle treated Monique. I don't like the way Giselle treated Candace in these later seasons. I don't like the way Giselle treats Wendy. I can't stand it. I want, not even for Monique to be like a main, but I would have loved for Monique to come in as a guest, and her and Candace patch things up, and then it'd be Monique, Candace, and Wendy versus Giselle and Robin. This is before all the casting stuff, but that was my messy reality TV hope. I would have loved that. I think that would have been an amazing versus, and of course, the Wendy, Monique, and Candace side would have won, because they again, it's about quick whips, and of course, Candace and Wendy, they got it. They got it for sure. So I would have loved to have seen that for television, but in real life, though, seriously, I would, and this is off camera. I'm talking about real life. I think I would love if Monique and Candace could really have a sit down, honest conversation about what went down and really talk from the heart about how they feel about everything. Because time has passed, but I do feel like, especially Candace, she still looks like she's still hurt and traumatized from that situation, and so I think it would be good for them to have a conversation again, not for reconciliation, but just to really move forward, you know. So we'll see. Season 9 is shaping up to be interesting. This whole Mia and Gordon thing, it's a touchy subject. I'm not married, so I can't really speak on the marriage aspect. I can speak on what I've seen over the years of my parents and different marriages that I've seen over the years. First of all, I think it was really brave of Gordon to talk about what he's dealing with I believe he's at bipolar 1. And I'm glad that he got diagnosed and he's getting help and he's getting the treatment that he needs and everything. Again, it's hard to really speak on marriage when you're not married. I do believe that it is important, of course. Again, you want to take care of yourself and you want to make sure that, self-care is important. However, from what I've seen and from what I've witnessed, like when you're married, it's like, when do the vows really kick in, right? The for better, for worse, richer for poor, sickness and health, and all this other stuff. And I'm not saying, like I said, I don't know these people personally. I can only go by what they show us on TV. But I just feel like, Mia was saying that she couldn't take it anymore and all this other stuff. But it's like, I feel like these are the times when you really tap into those vows. Like you really tap in, like, okay, my mate, my spouse is really going through this tough situation. So now that we know what it is, how can I be there to support him? And yeah, she's saying on the reading she's still gonna support him, take care of him, and all this other stuff. But she's still out here doing her thing with her other dude or whatever. And yeah, that Gordon of course gave her permission to go do her thing under the different conditions that they get. That's their marriage, whatever. Not judging that, whatever. That's what they agreed upon. But I just feel like, I don't know, just the divorce. I don't know. It just seems like so much more going on there than what they're saying to me. But anyway, we'll see how season 9 shakes up. My question always is about, I have been since watching the earlier seasons, why was Charisse demoted from a main housewife to recurring to guest? I was always curious about that, like what transpired for her to get demoted. Because I thought Sharice she made good TV. Like I said again, watching seasons 1 and 2, I enjoyed watching Sharice. Um, Now that whole scene this past season with her when she had the crowd boil and she got, she was saying, stop it, doing all that. I thought that was a bit much when Candace and Robin were arguing, even though I feel like Sharice brought it up. But anyway, I just always wondered why Sharice was demoted. So this season 9 is gonna, let's see. So right now, so we know Candace is not coming back. We know Robin was fired. It's alleged that NECA is gonna be fired. I feel like, even though I know this is not gonna happen, I feel like Giselle needs to go. She doesn't bring anything to me but mess. And she brings mess and then doesn't want to take accountability for it. And she wants everybody else to apologize and take accountability for their parts. She can go. Ashley Darby can go. Ashley's not bringing anything but mess. And I keep saying but mess. I know that's what people watch reality TV for the mess, but it's unnecessary mess. Ashley can go. She's not bringing nothing. Like I said, it's the same old sad storyline, same old tired storyline. Oh, I think I want to divorce Michael today. Oh, me and Michael are good. But he doesn't want to be seen on camera, but we're good. And then next time we know, oh, we're me and Michael, we're just gonna go ahead and move forward with the divorce and just we get Karen, Wendy, Mia. And I'm not really excited about Mia still being on there, but I'm gonna say this: I was a fan of Mia at first, but she started doing too much, especially the past season when she threw that drink at Wendy and got upset because Wendy didn't want to go into business with Peter anymore. And I'm like, why are you concerned about Wendy and Peter's business? It has nothing to do with you. You claiming, oh, Peter's a good friend of mine and da 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 da. Girl. Bye. So yeah, Potomac may need to reboot Special 2. they may need it too. But I love Karen. I think, like I said, Karen is hilarious to me. I will say, rewatching the first season, I remember not liking Karen when I first watched the show when it first came out. But Karen is funny. Karen is hilarious to me. Karen, I love Karen. I love the Grand Dame. I love her. She's dope. She's dope now. Like I said, I grew to really start to like her. So yeah, I honestly thought when Candace made the announcement that she was leaving, I thought that Wendy was gonna leave next, not get fired, but I thought she was gonna say, you know what, I'm good on this. I thought Wendy was gonna say, I'm good, I'm gonna go. And I wouldn't be surprised if Wendy said I'm good, because I feel like Wendy has so much, Dr. Wendy has so much going for her. She has a lot going on, a lot of good positive things going on for her. She doesn't necessarily need the show. I just feel like it's like she would definitely do well, and she will continue to do well, without being on the show. And shout out to her husband Eddie, because first of all, Eddie replied to my tweet, because I wrote the tweet because the reunion obviously just ended, and I wrote the tweet. I was like, I basically said, I feel like this was a waste of the husband's time, because they literally, like, I don't. And again, they take all freaking day. They take from sun up to sundown. So I don't know everything that was captured during the husband segments, but what they showed, it was like the husband was just sitting there nodding their heads. Like they don't interact with Chris because they're still dealing with that whole, what Giselle said, disparaging words that Giselle said, and they're still dealing with, and then Gordon made his confession, and then of course they talked about Juan Dixon, who wasn't even there. Why are we focusing on a person who's not there? He's not there. We don't care about Juan Dixon. So, and I feel like, Eddie and NECA's husband, they was just sitting there nodding their heads, and I felt like it was a waste of time. They don't utilize the husbands enough on these shows. Yeah, I know it's called the Real Housewives, but I feel like get the men involved. I think that's what made the early days of Atlanta so good, because the men were really involved. with the show, because we really got to see the dynamics of their relationships, not just with their wives, not just with the wives with their husbands, but also the men with each other. I think, and that's what makes Married to Medicine so good too. And I'm gonna talk about Married to Medicine again in another pod, but I think that's what also makes Married to Medicine a good show. Is because the husbands are involved with the show. They're involved with what's happening in the show. And I feel like they need to do a better job of that. Even with Salt Lake City, now talk about that, and there goes Poochie. He's barking. I feel like somebody's coming home, so that's probably why he's barking. Anyway, that's what makes Salt Lake City. You know, I think we with Salt Lake City, there was a couple of scenes where the husbands, I think they went out, they hung out or whatever. This is the early seasons of Salt Lake City. They hung out when the wives were out of town, or they went on their girls trip. The guys, you know, they was hanging out. I think they went somewhere. I can't remember. But I think that's the beauty of these shows. Again, even though it's mainly about the wives, you're definitely seeing what's going on with the guys and seeing how they interact with each other as well. Because that's important too. Because that's the conflict. A lot of times if the women, like, let's say, if the two of the women aren't getting along, but their husbands are really good friends, their relationship could have an impact on the husband's relationship. So I think, that definitely does play a vital role in that. So I said all that to say, with the Housewives of Potomac reunion, I do feel like that the husbands did waste their time. It was a waste of time for the husband. I feel like they could have zoomed them in for what that was. And apparently it looked like Eddie agreed with me. That's why he did the tweet with the GIF. Was it GIF? GIF? The GIF? I don't know. Anyway, so that's that. So yeah, Potomac, we'll see what happens with season 9. Let's see. Salt Lake City, I did mention that. I do watch Salt Lake City. Listen, everybody was talking about Monica. M-O-N-I-C-A. She trying to take my man away from me. Monica, oh Monica. Stalking and looking and jocking and she follow you. Everybody's talking about that. I don't care what y'all think about that. That whole reality bond tease situation was bananas. Yeah, Monica it ended up being the villain of that season of season 4. But when I tell you that was some great television, I don't care. That was some great television. That was so it was hilarious, and it was funny. It was funny. I'm sorry, y'all. It was funny.
I have your perfect formula. Receipts, proof, timeline, screenshots, everything to prove that you are a bully and a troll, and you do not deserve to be at this table or anywhere near any of us for the way you've treated us.
But Salt Lake City. I've always enjoyed Salt Lake City. Just the over topness of it all. From Jen Shaw, all the yelling she was doing, from Lisa Barlow always talking about Lisa. She talks about herself a lot, but Meredith, when she gets angry, she starts ticking, all that ticking she getting on. When she starts ticking, she's pissed off. So y'all might want to look out for her. Mary with her quips. I am not a Heather Gay fan. I feel like Heather stirs the pot. I think she throws the rocks and she hides her hand a lot. I used to like Whitney. I don't dislike Whitney. I just feel like I don't know what to say about Whitney. I don't know what to say about her. But I was a Lisa Barlow fan early on. I didn't enjoy her this last season. I did not. I felt like she definitely was coming at Monica. She was coming at Monica a lot. And it got kind of hard to watch a little bit. Again, not saying what Monica did was right. I'm not excusing what her behavior was. But I just feel like the way that Lisa treated her, it was kind of wild. But yeah, definitely the best part of Salt Lake City this past season was the whole reality bond tease thing. That was crazy. So Monica obviously said that she was not returning for the next season. I don't know what they're gonna do about season 5. I'm not sure exactly how that's gonna work. They need something because I don't believe Mary is gonna come back full time. Jen Shaw's still away. They need something. They need somebody in that mix that's really going to that's really going to, because I don't want to hear Lisa continue to whine about her, about her $15,000 rings and bracelets and all this other stuff and everything, and how she's, oh my God, I'm Lisa Barlow. I gotta call my 6 lawyers and all that stuff. I don't hear that. Keep hearing that. Meredith, Lisa, Heather, and Whitney cannot. Those 4 people. They can't. There's no show with them. They need somebody. They need 2 other people in that mix that's really going to bring some diversity and really, again, push the show along. So yeah, that's that. Lastly, Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. So I came in, of course I came in on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills when Garcelle came on. Of course, I love Garcelle. I was like, oh, she's gonna be a Housewives of Beverly Hills. Oh, I'm watching. I'm definitely watching. I know Eileen Davidson from Young and the Restless was on there, and I was gonna watch her seasons when she first was announced that she was coming in, but I ain't gonna lie, I actually forgot about it, and I was like, oh, I feel like I'm too late to tap in, so I just never really tapped in. However, I did start back. This is even before before I went back to watch the first season of Potomac. I actually started watching Beverly Hills. Not gonna lie to you, it did not catch my attention. I think I'm still at the end of season. I'm at the end of episode 1 of season 1, or the beginning of episode 2. I don't know. I just know it did not catch my attention. My homie was like, "You gotta keep watching. It gets better." I was like, "Are you sure?" It's like, I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is kind of boring." And again, I'm not really necessarily looking for mess, but I do want to be entertained though. I want intriguing storylines. I just want to see like what's developing. And I said storylines. I don't necessarily. I want to see your life, but I want. Yeah, it just I don't know. I don't know what I want. I don't know what I want. But not that. But no, like I said, I'm going to go back and watch, because I do know the later seasons do get a lot better. From the clips I always see on Twitter, and so I definitely I'm gonna push through. But anyway, definitely came in on the Garcelle season. I want to start. So it was announced that Crystal wasn't coming back. They made that announcement that Crystal's not coming back. That makes me sad. I wasn't a Crystal fan when she first came on, but I grew to like Crystal. I think Crystal is very intriguing. I think she is, once she starts talking, like it's like the light bulb is on, and she is ready to give these girls the business. I love it. I love that her and Sutton actually grew a friendship, a relationship. I love the duo of Crystal, Sutton, and Garcelle. I love that I said duo, the trio. Y'all not gonna get on me. The trio of Garcelle, Sutton, and Crystal. I love that grouping. So I love that her, like I said, I love that Crystal and Sutton were able to actually, after their misunderstanding and their not getting along when Crystal first came on, I love that they were able to really actually forge, have a conversation, take accountability, and really talk and really forge that friendship. So I love that. I love seeing that. I love Sutton. Sutton is very quirky. Sutton is kooky, but I love her. I think the reason why I love her is because she's hometown. She's the home team. She's from Augusta. So I think that's dope. I would love to meet Sutton. I would love to sit down and talk to her and interview her. I think that'll be dope to actually really sit down and talk to Sutton and just talk about her life and talk about her view of Augusta. Now, like for her view of Augusta growing up, also with her living in Beverly Hills and all the great and lavish things that she gets to do. Like, what is her viewpoint of the city of Augusta, and just from her vantage point, how does she see Augusta? I would love to sit down and talk to her. I think that'll be dope to really get her POV on things. I love her and Garcelle's relationship. I can't stand when people say that they don't have a real relationship. Y'all don't know them. You know, and I don't know them either, but I'm just saying, like, you can't just be like, oh, they don't have a real friendship. Most of y'all friendships aren't real, so hush. So yeah. I like Garcelle and said I love that they have each other's backs. I love that. Especially I admire that. Now, with that being said, I did mention Anne-Marie earlier. I'm glad that she's gone. I'm glad that she did not get asked back. I feel like she did not bring anything to the show. I feel like she came in to be Kyle's bodyguard, and it fell against her miserably. I really hate the fact that she tried to go against Garcelle at the reunion. And I still gotta watch part 3 of the reunion. I just realized I didn't finish that. I did like the fact that she was trying to go at Garcelle about, because Garcelle was talking to Dorit about, you know, what Dorit said about Garcelle attacking her, or something she said that was not, Dorit shouldn't have said it. And Garcelle, you know, of course, called her out on it, and they talked about it, blah, blah, blah. And I didn't like how Anne-Marie was like, well, you know, you being a black woman, you can't, you know, you didn't take up for me, and all this other stuff. I'm just like, come on, Anne-Marie, that we don't do that. Come on. Come on, girl. You're looking for a moment and it failed. And I just feel like, and even if she did talk about, I guess she went on Carlos King. I guess she did go on Carlos King, and she did talk about how she just felt like they didn't really show her life and, you know, all this other stuff. I'm just like, I stand on that. They can only show what you give. And I feel like even if they taped a whole bunch, like, I'm sure that they taped a whole bunch of stuff, and of course they some things didn't make the edit board. You know, some things didn't make the edit. I get that. However, but when you constantly show mess and you constantly show, you know, you talking about Sutton's esophagus all the time and continuing calling Crystal a liar, and you just constantly just being combative. I just feel like they're gonna show what you put out. If you, like I said, if you're putting out a bunch of mess, they're gonna use the mess. So I feel like even I know people say, well, the producers tell me to do this, or they suggest I do this, that stuff, da da da. You don't have to do what they say. I feel like you got your own mind. It's like, you know, how bad do you want to be on TV where you're, again, going with what the flow of the mess is? You know what I'm saying? I hope that makes sense. But anyway, but I'm glad she's gone. Like I said, I don't think she brought anything to. So I don't like Kyle. Kyle really gets on my nerves. She's another one. She'll throw the rock and hide her hand. I love the scene where Seth was like, name them. I please, because you keep saying I'm doing stuff and all this other stuff. Name it. And she couldn't name it, doggone it. So yeah, Kyle. The only reason she's there because she's been there since the very beginning. She's an OG. It's like I said again, you have the staples of the show. Like Giselle and Karen aren't going nowhere for Potomac because they are the staples of the show. They're not going anywhere. Unfortunately, Giselle is that staple, so she's there. It's the same thing. Like I said, even with Beverly Hills, it's the same thing. Kyle is the staple of the show, so like she's not. As long as she says she still wants to be there, she's gonna be there. But yeah, Erica. Once again, Erica to me is one of those people that can say whatever they want to say, but when you say something to them, they want to spit hellfire at you. Again, reminds me of somebody else on another show, another Bravo show that I'll talk about on another time. But yeah, especially the way Erica was going at Sutton, and the way Erica was dealing with, you know, that whole situation with the whole her, you know, her I think he's still her husband. That whole situation. Yeah, it was controversial, yes. So the group had a right to be concerned about all of that. And I feel like Sutton asked the questions that they was so scared to ask. And I felt like just the way that, and I know Erica was probably dealing with a lot, but the way she was just coming at Sutton, I didn't like that. That really put a bad taste in my mouth for Erica. So even now, even with this past season, she was a lot lighter. Especially with Renna gone, and I'm so glad Renna left because Renna was getting on my nerves. But I think she was definitely a lot lighter. But Erica is still, to me, she's still I don't know what it is about Erica that just is under my skin about her. Again, she's just one of those people I feel like she can say whatever she want to say, and then when somebody says something at her, it's like she just, you know. So anyway, so that's my take on the Housewives. I don't know what's gonna really have going on with the. Well, I guess they haven't really. Only casting announcement they made was that Crystal wasn't coming back. So we'll see what happens with these casting announcements. I have not gotten into I have not gotten into any of the other Housewives. I did watch The Buy, like a couple of episodes. I might give them another try. It just really didn't move me. So I was just like, I'll put that down. But I haven't watched Miami, haven't watched any of the New York. I don't watch the OC. I don't know if there are any other Housewives, but I haven't watched any of those. But yeah, so that's my take on Housewives. I'm gonna say this is gonna sound crazy, and I'm sorry, but I had this conversation with my sister. I was like, maybe we need to put a pause on the Housewives franchise. I know y'all gonna get me for that. I'm sorry, but because I feel like we're just doing the same cycle with these shows. So I'm just like, maybe we need to take a little break from all of them. Maybe we need to kind of go back to the drawing board and kind of just retool some things. Maybe. I don't know. I will say this though about Atlanta. I think if they're going to end the show, I'm not saying they're ending it. I'm saying whenever they decide to end Atlanta, Housewives of Atlanta, they need to do an all-stars season. As far as like bring back everybody as a main, but we need to have some type of scene or some type of gathering where all of the housewives are there. We need a okay, this is what's going on with everybody now, and go from there. Now, I don't know if we're gonna ever get Candy and Phaedra in the same room. I'm not asking for it. That doesn't necessarily have to happen. But even if we can't get all the housewives in one room together, I do think there needs to be a season to where like we see each housewife in some capacity. Whether it's like a current housewife is meeting up with like, okay, so for instance, last season when Sheree had that meetup with all the OGs minus Nene, she wasn't there. I thought that was cute, but I think it would have been better if Sheree would have actually had an event and she would have invited them to that event, and also the current housewives, and they would have been at that event. I think that would have been better, because I felt like that scene when she had the dinner, it just obviously seemed produced. It seemed like, okay, we're gonna do this dinner for the OGs, and because it's the 15th, and that's it. It just didn't seem like, I just feel like it would have been better incorporated if they would have had Sheree have an event, or she did something with She by Sheree, and had, them come to that, something like that. But anyway, that's it. That's my take on the Housewives. If you want to talk Housewives stuff, I love having healthy debates. No, I don't. That's a lie. I like having conversations about Housewives. I don't like doing debates. No, I don't want to do debates. We can have a conversation about your thoughts on Housewives. You can school me on some things about Housewives, and we can go from there. If any other Housewives actually happen to be listening or watching, and you want to talk, that would be cool too. I have two platforms. I have this, and I also have my job, which is Celebrating Black Excellence 365. So we can do either or. The 365 has to be a little bit more professional, obviously, but this one, Carlton's World, it's a freer platform. So, we can talk talk a little bit more freely on this one. So anyway, with that being said, thank y'all so much for joining me on Carlton's World. I appreciate you. And until the next one, y'all have a good day. Peace.